Oh, what is up, you guys? My name is Blitz version 1, and this has been a hell of a night. First game I actually tried to play for this, my graphics card couldn't handle it and had to restart my entire computer, so I was sitting here waiting for the damn computer to restart while I was waiting. So I figured I was going to do this after the other one. I was going to do demo zombie quarantine zone. It looked really cool. I watched I watched Krusty play it, and I figured, why the hell not? I'd go ahead and get the demo and play it myself, because I wanted to play it a differently, and actually do better than he did. But I can't even play it because my graphics card can't handle it. It just shut off all my monitors and shut everything off, so I had to do everything else. So I figured, why the hell not? We'll go back to my Furry Protogen 2, since, as usual, people are asking for this in the only videos for this. So it's like, you guys, I get it. You guys want my Furry Protogen 2. I told you guys I'd try and put these up every now and then, at least a couple through the month, stuff like that. But at the same time, it's freaking hot. Relax. I'll get you my Furry Protogen. You guys, you're my Furry Protogen 2 fix. But come on now. Do I comment my Furry Protogen 2 on a my Furry Protogen 2 video? Are you even watching the video? Those of you who are asking for this, are you asking for this video? Or are you guys just saying it just to try and tell me what to do? Look, monkey jumping. Jumping through hoops for you. Stop saying my Furry Protogen 2 in a video, in a comment for a video for my Furry Protogen 2 video. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that matter. Anyway, here we go. Because I said at the end of one of my other videos, if you guys have seen it, instead of going up 2 minutes in, all right, I'm not going to watch no more. Go to something else. Get it. If y'all don't want to watch me, that's fucking fine. But God, quit asking for something and then not watching it. If you want something, watch the whole damn video. You'll know at the end of the video that I would have said that with how hot it's been and how my office is a modified walk-in closet, there's no airflow. I have fans and a ceiling fan. That's all I've got in here. So during the day, when it's 100 and something degrees outside, I don't want to lock myself in here and roast. So I'm gonna quit complaining, and here we go. Well, did you find something? I'm not sure yet. It's hard to draw conclusions from one sample. We need to get others and analyze them accurately, which will take much longer. If we go now, we can do it all before dark. But I'm sure now that it's safe to deactivate all of the devices. At least that's something. Juno looked out the window of the jet, and the sun was still pretty high. Then we have to move out. The sooner we go, the sooner we'll be done. You think we have a chance to save this planet? Did the analysis tell anything about that? Juno just shrugs her shoulders. I don't know, but I don't want to jump to conclusions and give you false hope just yet. But at least we'll try, right? Of course. I nodded, ready to act. Juno turned on the jet and adjusted the locator and gave Pixie the coordinates where we needed to go. I was seized with impatience, a thirst for action that could not be contained. The whole time we were flying to the next point, there were only 2 points on the map. I was fidgeting in my seat on the jet, tapping my feet on the floor in a nervous rhythm. Juno didn't say anything to me about it, though I could see her eyes on me every now and then. Here we go! Get ready to have a bunch of yawning. Finally, the jet hovered a couple meters off the ground at the desired point, a small field on the other side of the planet. I went here and walked to the point. Juno took the locator, but I was in no hurry to join her. I think it would be wiser if we split up. You stay here and I'll head to the next point and pick you up on the way back. As soon as I finished my suggestion, which was admittedly more cocky than I thought, Juno became silent and her helmet displayed an expression of silent shock. What? No! That is absolutely not a good idea, Blitz. We're on a dangerous planet. So what? Well, you're well trained and nothing bad would happen to you. Besides, it's only to take a few minutes to disable the device. We'll be in contact, and in case of anything, I'll be right back, and I'm not worried about me, I'm worried about you, dummy. You don't know this place at all. What if there's a dangerous creature out there and I don't get in time to save you? lost her. That heart pricked with resentment. Juno, I'm not a child. I can take care of myself. You taught me everything, and now I have to sit back. Nothing will happen to me. You saw how the local animals reacted to us. They didn't even look in our direction. It was only one species. What if we end up running into predators? No, that's just out of the question. We go together. We've already wasted a lot of time, and now we're wasting even more. We'll split up and then meet at the same point. I can stand up for myself. Stop thinking I'm weak. Juno's helmet showed a sad expression that made me feel like a total asshole. Oh, you're kind of being an asshole. But I wasn't going to go back on this. We had to use the time to our advantage as best we could. In the end, Juno only nodded and picked up her rifle. Please, let me know if anything happens. With those words, she jumped out of the jet, landing smoothly on the ground. I nodded and wanted to wish her good luck, but Juno had already disappeared into the thicket of trees. After giving her a look, I returned to the control panel and asked Pixie to take me to the next point. The flight took a little time, during which I got my rifle ready and picked up the second locator, then landed on the side of a wide river and set off down a trail. I didn't know how long I'd have to walk. The jet couldn't fly right up to the point because of the abundant dense thickets of forest, so once again I had to waste time walking. I was focused on the locator, walking strictly towards the target, looking under my feet every now and then to make sure I didn't run into anything poisonous. The forest is quiet, even quieter in this part of the planet than the ocean shore. There seemed to be no animals here at all except the occasional passing bird and bugs dancing in the air. Ah! I don't know how long that was stuck to the back of the fan making that noise. Okay. Okay, got that. Despite the fact that I was sure of my decision, an unpleasant feeling settled in my stomach and gave no peace. My thoughts were all about Juno. She and I hadn't been separated in the last 2 years on the ship, much less by such a distance, and now I felt strange, lonely, and lost. We spent almost all our time together, and even if we split up on the ship or train or work in the lab, we were always knew where to find each other. As I pounded the weights in the gym, I knew that at any time, any moment, I could go to the next compartment and find Juno there. But now she was somewhere far away, out of my sight, in an unknown planet, and I was getting more and more anxious. It was your idea, man! In 2 years, we'd barely gotten off the ground. All we could do was fly from one planet to another, rarely landing on them because it was always too late. Some were ruined and floating in space as fragments of stone, while others, even from space, looked dead and rotting away, living their last hours in agony. We were always late, and time became my worst enemy. I didn't have enough time to train more, and didn't have enough time to help any of the planets destroyed by the anomaly. I hated the feeling of helplessness and guilt that came from my own inaction. All I could do was train and absorb Juno's teachings, but I was nowhere near her level in terms of both knowledge and strength. So all the tiny success that we managed to achieve was a result of Juno's hard work, which made me feel like a useless anchor. In fact, Juno didn't have to be concerned with finding the anomaly and trying to stop it at all. Her planet was safe, far away from us. And if she wanted to, Juno could just give up and fly far away where the anomaly had never been heard of. There was no way I should have gotten this far alone, even if Juno had given me a separate ship equipped with artificial intelligence and everything I needed to survive. So now I felt a deadly determination to prove at least to myself that I could be useful. I could do what Juno had done. It was necessary for my own peace of mind just to believe that someone depended on me. But the past 2 years of hard training wasn't for nothing. I finally reached my destination. I could see the purple glow of the device in the bushes along the river's shore. Taking the bot, I turned it on and set it on the ground, asking Pixie to turn off the device. There were animal corpses all around it, just like the first one. It seemed like there were even more of them here. Part of the river was also affected by the device. Many dead fish and small creatures thrown up by the water lying on their sides. I approached them and took samples for Juno. Soon, Pixie turned off the device. The purple light went out and I could pick it up. As I held it in my hand, I noticed that it was quite heavy. I ran back to the jet as fast as I could. I couldn't wait to get back to Juno, pick her up, and get back to the ship. Though tiny, that little bit of hope I had convinced me that we could save this planet. It kept me moving forward and gave me even more motivation and strength to keep going. Climbing into the jet, I immediately called out to Pixie. Pixie, let's go get Juno. Where is she now? Silence was all I got in response. I frowned and moved closer to the jet's panel as if I could see Pixie there. Pixie, hello? Again, a few long seconds of silence, which had never happened before. Pixie finally answered. Blitz, I apologize for not replying right away. Juno is in a dangerous situation right now. You need to get to her immediately. My heart sank into my stomach as soon as Pixie said that. Is she okay? What happened? Panic was clearly audible in my voice, and the ringing in my ears began to rise rapidly. Calm down, Blitz. You need to keep a clear mind. Juno is uninjured, but she is currently in battle mode. You need to come to her aid as soon as possible. I cursed, feeling a chilling sense of guilt clench my heart. If I hadn't insisted on and stayed with Juno, this could have been avoided. And even though I wasn't as strong as Juno, I didn't mean anything. I'd rather know what was happening to her. Finally, the jet hovered above the forest, the doors opened, and I jumped out of the jet. Oh, that's dope! Juno's figure immediately caught my eye. She was clutching her rifle in her hands, and the thick green vines of vicious plants were trying to attack her. They were dense and strong, trying to grab Juno, but she managed to fight back. I saw Juno's ears twitch in the direction of the jet. She heard I'd come to help, but she couldn't afford a second respite. The plant-like vicious monster tried to grab her every now and then, and I felt an adrenaline rush in my bloodstream, instantly enveloping my body with heat. I had to act now. I grabbed my rifle and jumped into the fray. I rushed into the fight, trying to draw the plant's attention away from Juno. I started firing and screaming at it. Hey, you stupid weed! Try to catch me! Blitz, you really said that? I didn't know if the plant heard me, but as long as I entered the fray, firing at the vines with my rifle, it immediately turned its attention to me, giving Juno a chance to take a breath. At that moment, my body began to move on its own, all thanks to the muscle memory and everything I'd learned from the past 2 years. I deftly dodged the vines that were trying to grab my legs. My heart pounded frantically against my ribs. I didn't see what Juno was doing at the moment. She disappeared from my sight, probably heading to the jet to help me out, but it didn't really matter. At some point, I felt a vine around my ankle and dropped me to the ground. I gasped, feeling the air get knocked out of my lungs, and started firing from a prone position, not really aiming, just hoping to distract the monster. The vine clenched around my leg with tremendous force, threatening to break the bone, and the pain flared up and spread throughout my body. At that moment, I heard Juno's voice shouting, "Let's cover your face!" I didn't have time to consider her request, but instinctively followed the command and covered my face with both hands. In the blink of the eye, the jet was hovering right above the plant's maw. A strange substance emerged from the bottom of the jet. Herbicide, I thought. The monster let out a long, bestial roar, and the vine that was gripping my leg and pulling me forward toward its maw weakened immediately. The monster shrank into a lump, continuing to growl in agony as the herbicide ate away its body. When I took my hands from my face, Juno had already jumped to the ground and sprinted towards me, falling to her knees beside me. What's you okay? Are you alright? Did it hurt you? On her helmet, an emotion replaced another, as if the helmet had short-circuited. I sat down on the grass, coming to my senses. Fine, I'm fine. It's nothing, just a bruise at the most. Damn it, I knew these things lived here. Oh, I didn't know. I should have known. There's a reason it was quiet when we landed. Juno, it's okay. It's all my fault. We shouldn't have split up. I'm sorry. I didn't want it to turn out like this. Juno helped me up, setting me on my feet, and immediately squeezed me into a smothering hug. I wrapped my arms around her and around her waist and responded, breathing in her scent, feeling that she was perfectly fine in my arms. It's okay. It's not your fault. We were both stupid. Let's not split up again, okay? Especially on unknown planets. Of course, never again. I'm sorry, Juno. I didn't mean for this to happen. It's all my fault. I was stupid. I acted like a child. I'm so ashamed. You could have gotten hurt because of me. Juno only shook her head, interrupted the flow of my apology, and pulled me even closer to her. You couldn't have seen this coming. Besides, the most important thing, that we're both safe. Let's get back to the ship, okay? Did you get the device? Yeah, I got it. There were no creatures there. But I also got a few samples for you. Juno smiled warmly at me, gently stroking my cheek with her fingers. Thank you, Liz. I was so worried about you. We stood in the middle of the forest in a tight hug for a while, then hurried back to the ship, tired and dirty from the fight. Juno took the devices to the mini lab. I sat in the chair by the navigation panel, looking out the jet window at the planet moving further away. My body was still hot from the fight. I stared at the planet, realizing that Juno and I might be its last visitors. But in that moment, I didn't feel the longing that where did I get she? That had eaten away at my heart hours before. That was a kind of relief and acceptance. I was glad that we'd been there, that we'd been able to create memories that would stay in our minds forever. Yeah, naughty time on beach. And even if this planet is gone in a couple days or weeks, we would know that it had once been. And maybe, as Juno rightly said, one day it will fully recover from what has happened, and we will come back here again to see the new flora and fauna, to see what happened to it during our absence. Knowing that we did everything we could to prevent its destruction. Ding dong, dingly dong. While Juno carried the devices to the lab, I went straight to the shower. All I wanted to do was wash away the signs of struggle, and grains of sand clung to my skin after our time on the beach. Bow chicka bow wow. Finally, I felt the fatigue rolling through my muscles. It wasn't every day that I went into battle, after all. And what happened on that planet today made me realize that all the training I had done wasn't really helping me. It wasn't. Your muscle memory kicked in, and you literally were a badass and helped fight off a plant monster. And you're gonna say that the training wasn't helpful? Come on, man. Yes, I had become more agile and fast, and my endurance had improved. But sparring with Juno in the gym, where everything was clear and easy, couldn't compare to a real fight that could happen anywhere. The fact that my opponent wasn't someone whose techniques and behavior I knew, but an unknown creature, only heightened my desire to improve and train until I reached my limits. I realized the only practice would prepare me for the test ahead to make me worthy of being Juno's partner. It was terrifying to imagine that today things could have turned out differently, and I could have lost her due to a stupid accident. What would I do then? I would probably blame myself for the rest of my life, which would have been significantly diminished without her. Yes, I had some knowledge of the ship's controls, but it still wasn't enough. I couldn't continue traveling knowing that Juno was dead and I wasn't strong enough to protect her. Today, I truly understood the risky game that Juno and I were playing. I realized that I had gotten myself into, driven by revenge. But no matter how terrible it was, I couldn't back down. I had no right to. I tried to push those thoughts out of my head, and because they weren't helping at all, in fact, in this situation, they were only making things worse. The desire for revenge, to find the source of the anomaly and to find the one who had created it, was still there. However, now it was joined by fear of what we might face in the future. After getting out of the shower, I went straight to the bedroom. The ship was quiet and Pixie had dimmed the lights to create the illusion of night. It was the only way to regain some sense of time, as it was always dark in space. When I walked into the bedroom, Juno was already there waiting for me. She was lying on the bed on her stomach. As soon as she heard my footsteps, she turned around. She looked at me over her shoulder, smirking softly. Hope you're not too tired. Oh, come on! Don't do this to me again! Juno smiled, keeping her eyes on me. I shook my head, approached her, and settled into the bed beside her. Gently, I ran my hand down her back, tracing the elegant curve of her spine until my palm rested on her lower back. A wave of tenderness washed over me, accompanied by a pleasant flutter and anticipation stirring in my lower abdomen. I can't believe I could have lost you today. A frown appeared on Juno's helmet. Don't think about it. You got there just in time, but if I hadn't... We don't know what would have happened. This is just a hypothetical scenario. Juno tucked her legs underneath her body, finding herself in a knee-locked position. Yeah, I guess so. Stop being sour, Blitz. I know that look, and then the music just stopped. Come here. Oh, God. She arched her back invitingly, and I didn't deny her request, crawling closer to her. Oh, God, there's the music. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Almost every single one of these episodes seems to go into a Patreon video. I pressed my lips pressed against her buttocks, then moved up to her back and the neck, and finally landed on her shoulders and neck. Oh God, should we use the ropes? Did we use the ropes last time? I don't remember. Oh my God. Oh God, here we go. Hold on. I must save. I don't remember. I think we used them last time. No, we're not going to use the ropes this time. We lay next to each other on the bed, enjoying the long-awaited rest. The sudden energy evaporated, leaving the room for fatigue and desire to sleep. Juno made herself comfortable on the bed, throwing her arms around me, snuggling close to my side. Don't think about what could have happened, okay? We're safe and everything's fine, so just rest for now. Her voice was sleepy and a little tired. How can you be sleepy and a little tired? I nodded even though she couldn't see it. I really didn't want to think about what might have been. There were so many what-ifs going on around us that thinking about each one would make my head explode. But I knew that I wanted to protect her. I wanted to be the one who would be there for her at any moment. That was important to me, more important than anything else, and even more important than the mission. I knew Juno wasn't angry with me, but that didn't mean I wasn't angry with myself. The fatigue was stronger than my anxious thoughts. As soon as I relaxed into Juno's warmth, my mind went dark and I finally fell asleep, listening to the quiet sounds of the ship. Ding dong, ding-a-ling dong. I know it's piano, but I saw a familiar scene again, an image well imprinted in my head. Hi guys, I don't know if this is still going to be cut into deals because I don't know if she's going to wake up and still be naked. I don't know yet because this is a dream sequence. Hi, welcome to the dream. Saw a familiar scene again, an image well imprinted in my mind, in my head. Darkness in which the explosion burned red. The ship floated in the void, taking me farther and farther away from the wreckage. I knew it was a dream, but still couldn't bring myself to wake up. In the dream, I knew it wasn't my home planet. It was the planet we'd just left, the place we'd taken the devices from. But there, in the depths of my subconscious, I was leaving it not with hope for the best, but for the realization that it was over. An icy dread swept over me, a painful tightness in my throat. I was alone on the ship. It was dragging me away into the cold and lonely void, and flashing flashes shone before my eyes. I knew Juno had stayed on this planet. Knew there was nothing I could do to save her, and the feeling of utter helplessness, of dumb resignation mingled with terror, and a tight lump tearing at my ribcage. When I opened my eyes, I found myself in the sleeping compartment. I was alone in the bed. Juno's spot next to me was empty. Oh, thank God, she's probably clothed then. I immediately sat up in the bed, my heart pounding rapidly in my chest. It was all a dream. Juno had come back to the ship with me. I knew it. I was sure of it, but I still couldn't shake the heavy crust that had formed in my heart from the dream. Pixie, can you tell me where Juno is? The second of waiting for an answer stretched for an eternity. I was afraid it was the other way around, that our departure from the planet was a dream, and the reality was that I saw tonight in the darkness of my own subconscious. I was afraid that now Pixie was going to tell me that I'd lost my mind and Juno was gone, and now I was here alone. But Pixie thankfully brought me out of my abyss of my own fears. Good morning, Blitz. Juno is in the lab right now. Would you like to join her? Yeah, that'd be great. Got out of bed and put my clothes on. Would you like to have breakfast now? Nah, I'll eat later. Did Juno tell you that not eating breakfast is detrimental to your body? I don't want to hear your lectures again. My aunt just sounded slightly annoyed, but Pixie didn't take any offense. As you wish. If she starts scolding you, don't say I didn't warn you. I grinned, quickly thanked Pixie for his concern, and headed for the lab. There she is. Alright, nice and clothed and ready for a new day. Juno was there. She was sitting at the table, scrutinizing the results of the analysis. I walked up behind her and put my arms around her. Good morning. Did you sleep well? Juno smiled at me, glancing over my shoulder. Yep, so just like a baby. The lie fell easily from my lips. I didn't want to tell Juno that the nightmares that haunted me every night didn't make sense anyway. Are you sure? Pixie said your pulse was... I hurriedly interrupted Juno. It's okay, really. I must have dreamt about something stupid and it made me agitated. A concerned expression appeared on Juno's helmet. What was your dream about? I don't remember. I think it was about the spicy pizza we ate half a year ago. Seriously? I love the question mark on her helmet. That made you agitated? Yeah, I was running from a giant pizza while my mouth burned. It must have crawled its way back into my mind due to how spicy it was. Remember the day we ate it? And how too much of the capsa thing was mixed into the dough? Even if Juno didn't believe me, she decided not to push this and just shrugged. By the way, don't tell me you've been here all night again. No, I woke up a couple hours ago. The deep analysis made by Pixie is done, and now all that is left is to summarize everything we know about it. I sat down next to her, ready for a serious conversation. Any progress? Yes, you could say that. The first thing that these devices are definitely connected. Mosquito, I killed it. They don't affect each other's work, but if one stops working, the other one knows about it. The devices do not have any AI in them. Instead, they operate using a specific algorithm. As I suspected at the beginning, while still researching the anomaly on your planet, it's all done by someone who planted all of them. Someone deliberately placed them on this planet, as they did the same on yours and many others. Is there a way to find out who did this? No, I don't think so. At least not while they're in their off state. But I can't turn them on. There's too great a chance it would kill us immediately. The only way to test them is to try to activate one on a desolate planet. And I don't want to do that unless there are no other options. So what do we do now? Genocide. There's another one. I think these devices are powered by an energy of the planet and all living things on them. Remember when I said that all living things carry certain energy? These devices devour it and drain the energy from the planets. But why do they need energy? Where do they put it? The energy is partially used to power the device. It affects the environment and that requires some energy. All the other energy is stored inside. It's all about these crystals. I've studied them, but so far it's too little to draw any conclusions. But I'm sure they store it. So these devices feed on the planet's energy, then why are they blowing it up afterwards? And why are the animals on the left? Okay, you're good for a while. Okay, and why were the animals on the last planet dying and the animals on mine getting infected? Juno was thoughtfully silent. I don't know yet, Blitz, but there is not enough information. These devices hardly get any information while turned off. If we could observe it from afar, see how it reacts to living things, that might give us enough information. We saw how it reacted. It created a pile of bodies lying around it. Yes, but as you said yourself, they died immediately. They didn't get infected. Something just doesn't add up here. The anomaly on 0-1221M is definitely of the same nature as the anomaly on your planet. They were all created by the same person. But there was no virus on 0-1221M. I did a study on the samples we collected. They just died. They weren't infected. I would suggest that what happened to your planet is a result of the individual mutation. The device was severely weakened in the index case patient 0, making his body a suitable host for all sorts of viruses and mutations. But I studied the virus on your planet, and I can say that with certainty that it was an artificial virus. And what do the devices have to do with it? Do you think that they were infectious? I would assume so, but I'm not sure how to explain it yet. These devices look more like batteries. I couldn't find anything related to the virus. Yes, they affect the environment, but they don't infect it. They just suck the energy out of the living things and store it in themselves. What's the point of that? Why destroy 0-1221M in the first place? It's not like anyone lives there. I don't know, but I do know that those devices would have destroyed 0-1221M if we hadn't intervened and shut them down. But given that I haven't dissected the virus, this planet has a chance of recovering. So we saved it? A smile appeared on Juno's helmet. I think so. My heart jumped with joy at the news. Yes, it's great, Juno. We saved an entire planet! Yes, but it's still too early to get excited. We need to understand how these work and where the virus comes from. Were there no traces of the virus on other planets we flew past? I can't say for certain. We flew over the planets that had already been destroyed. It's impossible to say for sure that there was no virus, especially given how nearly impossible it would have been to take samples. But in this case, I don't think enough time had passed and we were lucky enough to get it on time. Okay, but then what happens to the devices after the planet explodes? Are they destroyed along with it, or, I don't know, moved somewhere? Juno shrugged thoughtfully, running her eyes over the research results again. So far, we don't have an answer to that question either. But we will find out soon, I hope. I nodded. I was ready to move on no matter what. The idea of facing the virus again terrified me. I could still remember what happened to the animals and humans on my planet, but that didn't stop me. Even if Juno and I were only saved a small, little known planet with no intelligent life, it was already our small victory. I wasn't going to stop there, and I knew for a fact that Juno wasn't going to either. So, what do we do now? So to figure out how this thing works. Remember how I said that they were connected? I nodded, and Juno pointed to a computer monitor and showed a map of the galaxies we were now in. As I said, these devices are connected to each other. But for some reason, they have set coordinates, and I think those are the coordinates of the nearest planet with those devices. Wait, what? Hold on, back up. Why did this person leave them scattered like that? Wouldn't they be afraid that we could use it to find them? It's another question that we can't answer yet. But you are right, this helps us a lot. Juno pointed on the map at a specific planet and said, "This is the nearest planet with those devices. I found it myself some time ago, and the device's coordinates confirmed it. So that's our next destination. It's an icy planet called 8819-Y. Intelligent beings live there, but they are at an early stage of development, just like your planet. We should head there and disable all but one of the devices and observe how it works. What if there's a virus in there? If there's a virus in there, we can make an antidote based on the vaccine I made for you. But we need to figure out if the virus is there in the first place. We must find the devices, disable all of them except for one, and then observe it. As soon as it's dangerous, we'll shut the last one down and prepare the antidote." Juno's plan sounded pretty good to me. After the news we had managed to save 01-1221M from destruction, I felt an extraordinary surge of energy and motivation. Let's go there and do our best! Yes, absolutely. By the way, you said there are intelligent beings living there. Have you been there before? I haven't personally been there, but I know some spacefarers being there before. Wait, but what about the rule of not making contact? This planet's case is a bit special. It was once developed and almost ready to enter the space age. They made their first contact with other planets and had technology to travel into space. But a sudden human-made catalyst destroyed everything on this planet. After the cataclysm, the planet entered an ice age in a few tens of thousands of years ago, and nothing has changed since. Some of the beings there survived and have adapted to the cold temperature and started their technical progress all over again, as almost nothing survived the cataclysm. And nobody helped them. After the cataclysm, the inhabitants chose not to seek any help in restoring the technologies. Instead, they embraced the primitive lifestyle and isolated themselves, denying any possible progress. But they know that space exists and other creatures live there, so we won't affect their progress in any way. It's really hard for me to imagine why the species denied any progress, but I guess I understood their feelings. By the way, how about some breakfast? You haven't eaten anything yet. Pixie told me all about it. I wrinkled my nose. What a friggin' snitch. I was just thinking that. I hear everything. I hear everything, Blitz. Juno laughed and Pixie responded to my mumbling. Come on, we need to eat. The icy planet's at least a few days away. We have time to relax and regain our strength. Juno and I left the lab and headed for the food bay. Pixie had preheated our food at Juno's request. A tickle of excitement filled my chest. I'd never met any other alien creatures before Juno and Xena, who were members of the same species. The fact that this was about to change was both thrilling and slightly unsettling. How would I be perceived on this planet? Would the inhabitants be hostile towards us? Would we interact with them, or would we remain in the shadows as to not frighten anyone? The stream of questions in my head was interrupted by Juno's voice. What are you thinking about? About the planet we're going to. I don't know what it's going to be like. Ouchie. It's not like I've been any other intelligent beings in space besides you. Ah, don't worry, everything will be fine. At first, when I started my expeditions, I was also afraid to encounter new species. It was always exciting. How will they perceive you? Will they be hostile or hospitable? But the process of communicating with them eliminates all fears. Of course, they will be afraid of you just like they were of me. But once they realize that we come in peace, fear will be replaced by interest. Intelligent beings are always afraid of what they don't understand. Isn't that the fucking truth? So we're going to interact with them openly. Yes, of course. Not with everyone, obviously, just with a couple. We'll need a guide who can help us contact the others in case of danger. But if no one agrees to be our guide, Juno smiled. There's always someone willing. Yeah, she's referring to you, you dumbass. Like you, for example. I grinned, blushing slightly at the memory of when Juno and I first met. I had been startled and delighted and then I ruined the whole first impression by lying to her about my true motives. All I wanted to do was run away, and nothing else mattered to me. Now I'm living on the run, literally traveling through a universe that is much bigger than I could have ever imagined, even in my wildest fantasies. I wouldn't mind going with Juno if it weren't for the fact that my home planet had been destroyed and I could never return to it. But in a way, it is even easier now, knowing that I'm no longer confined to a single planet in the universe, and that with Juno, all paths are open to me. She's my home now, and I don't care where I go. As long as I'm near her, that's enough for me. Alright, ding dong dingly dong. I'm going to end this episode here. I ended it not directly after a naughty scene, so I'm going to save, and I'm going to end this episode here. Now I wanted to go to main menu. But yes, that was my Furry Protogen 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, watch these videos to the end. I mean, I put a lot of effort into reading all this stuff for you guys. You can at least stick to the end of the video. If you made it to the end of the video, hit the likes, hit that thumbs up button, or put a number. Put what number you are in the link or in the comments. What number are you to have finished this all the way through? If I see numbers popping up in the comments, then I know people have watched this all the way to the end. That being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, see you in the next one. And peace. Ciao.